old, young, whatever you want to call them. And I don't think that they follow you.
Thanks, Roger, for the call. We appreciate your input. Opens up the line 830-2277. Toll free if you're on cellular, 1*770. If you'd like to answer your question about the finances, go right ahead.
I'm a volunteer.
You're a volunteer.
I work for the movement. These men, none of them are on salary.
Mm-hmm.
They're all dedicated to the liberation and salvation of the black nation.
How do you survive?
The Nation of Islam takes care of all of my expenses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't receive a check. I don't receive a salary for this. This is not a job for me. This is my life's vocation as a minister and as a man of God, working in the vineyard of God to deliver his people.
So you own no personal wealth?
I have no assets and no liability.
Okay, appreciate that. Let's move on this morning. We'll check in next. Kevin from Madison, you're live on WVNN and the Sean Hannity program. Good morning.
Good morning. I just have a couple of comments, and one of them, as far as one race being superior to the other, as far as the brain or whatever that may go, I believe that is each individual. I believe there's individuals of both races that have the mental capacity to learn and become more knowledgeable than other people. I believe there is certain blacks that are smarter than certain whites. I believe there are certain whites that are smarter than certain blacks, but I will not draw a line and say all blacks are smarter than whites. I believe each individual, if you want to do that, you can put us both away and say simply because of the moral character, the Asians dust us both off. I mean, and it's basically because
I'll tell you, you make a great point, because
character and the learning and the discipline when you're young is what it takes to be knowledgeable and successful in life. It's not a matter of waiting and, well, I've been downtrodden, now all of a sudden I'm so smart I'm going to learn everything.
Well, it's interesting if you watch Asians succeeding or being so successful in this country, other people from other countries coming here, not speaking the language, not so caught up in the rhetoric and hatred and bigotry of racism. They're very successful in a short period of time. What I would like to see, and I think that's void in the African-American community, is the leadership that is pushing and pursuing excellence, taking advantage of the American dream as other immigrants to this country take advantage of each and every day.
It's no American dream. It's only an American nightmare.
Okay, there we go.
But let me say this is
Sure.
I want to answer that. Certainly, sir, I believe that there are very intelligent, very wise, and very smart white people among the white people, as well as among black people. What I was attempting to do early in the program was to address the very pointed question that came to me by Mr. Hannity. When I spoke of black people in a superior position, that was not to negate intelligence on both sides. I was collectively dealing with a collective history of black people being the fathers and mothers of the earlier disciplines that the world has based its foundation on. That's merely what I was talking about, going back to Socrates and Plato and Aristotle and Pythagoras and others, and studying the great scholars of the world who are now giving us information that shows that they made pilgrimages to Mecca, I mean not to Mecca, but to the Mecca of education of that day, to Kemet or to Egypt and other parts of Africa.
Kevin, we're going to move on. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue. WVNN News Talk time now is 11:49. I'm sorry, good morning. Coming up on afternoon. Thank you for listening to AM 770 in the Sean Hannity program. As we talk about and discuss, as we debate the issues of the day each Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 in the afternoon. This afternoon, we're going to carry the program up until 12:15. And as we continue our discussion with Khalid Abdul Muhammad, National Assistant to the Minister Louis Farrakhan, he'll be speaking this afternoon at the Von Braun Civic Center, 2 p.m. today. And the title of the lecture is In Christ All Things Are Possible, a Bible Revival for Black Survival. And if you'd like to go on down there, you can do so this afternoon. Let's go right back to the phones. One open line, 830-2277. Someone fell off during the break. We'll talk first with Janice from Hartselle, first-time caller. You're live on WVNN and the Sean Hannity program. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Janice. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Listen, I wanted to ask, I don't know his name, but I want to ask him a few questions.
Mr. Muhammad, yes.
Yes, Mr. Muhammad. What Bible do you use, Mr. Muhammad?
Well, we study from all of the Bibles. You know, there are so many Bibles now. There's the Douay version, the Schofield version, the King James James Version, the Phillips Version, the New World Translation, the Revised Standard Version, the Re-Revised Standard Version, and the Re-Revised Standard Version. And some of the Bibles have 66 books in it, and other Bibles have 72 books in it. So we tried to study all of them, even though there seemed to be some disagreement among those who are publishing the Bibles and in the seminaries and theological schools as to which one is the most authentic from the original manuscripts.
Okay, well, I usually use the King James Bible. But in our church, I go to a non-denominational church, and there are blacks that go to our church.
Yes, ma'am.
There's, and I realize that there is a lot of racism still going on these days, as much as ever. And I am totally opposed to that. That is totally wrong. And from the very beginning, it was wrong, and God did not. That, we are created equally. God created us equally, and that is wrong. But I do believe that vengeance is God's, and for you to take the wrath out yourself against white people for what used to happen, I think that, we have to forgive others for what they do to us. That is scriptural also. And if we don't forgive others, God's not going to forgive us. And I kind of feel like, you don't...
We have no vengeance program against white people, ma'am.
I feel like you have this something against white people. That's the way that I know the way that they treated you.
And what is going on today, but I have spoken of no vengeance program. You had a white man, a devil, that just came into the studio with an army sweatshirt on and all kinds of arsenal insignia on his vehicle with his hands in his pocket. Big devil said he came in just to see the face of the one who's on the radio.
Well, what just happened? Just let me clarify here. Somebody did walk into the back of the studio to see Mr. Muhammad's face. How did he get past those 15 guards is what I want to know.
He told them that he worked for the station, and I told them not to stop anyone that was coming back and forth in here to conduct business here at the station.
I told everyone to lock the door. Anyway, it sounds like she's bringing up a good point here, because I think what she's talking about is forgiveness, moving on, the true essence, I believe, of religion. There's no validity to this. Sounds like a decent-hearted human being here.
I can find nothing in what the young lady, in nothing that she has said that would cause me to attack her.
Well, I guess from listening to the show, I feel like you have a lot of resentment, because every time someone would get on the show, you would say that the forefathers had slaves and all this, which is wrong. And I would in no way say that it was right.
As many white people fought against that morally reprehensible thing, but he fails to acknowledge that. Of course, only black people are righteous.
Only a handful of whites have done that. The overwhelming majority are not of that same thing.
And there still is a lot of racism going on today. But I do feel like you, being such a leader that you are, you can have a very big influence to get that not to be so anymore. You can also influence that you have to forgive the white people that did that to you.
And I think you, ma'am, and Mr. Hannity here, if you are sincere, can play a major role among your own people to get them to stop that.
Maybe you can invite us to your church on a regular basis. That would be a good start.
I would think that it is not for you to be at our church, but to go to the many white churches.
Well, why can't white and black? Why won't you let me in your church?
Go to that 65% of white church-going Protestant Christians.
Not my church, sir.
Who voted for David Duke.
I want to join your church, but you won't let me. I changed my mind. I want to join your church.
I want to express something to this young lady.
You won't let me, though.
No, sir, that's correct. I will not.
Because you're racist.
I believe in my race and I love my race.
And prejudiced?
I'm not prejudiced. Prejudice means when you study the etymological root to prejudge. We're not prejudging white people.
Well, then why don't you let me in your church?
We've been under you for 400 years, and I've been on radio with you this morning.
A little tired.
I don't have to prejudge you.
400
you
years.
acted like a devil for the past
2 hours.
2 hours. So I don't have to prejudge you. But I want to make a statement to the young lady.
Slick, lightweight devil. You forgot those two other adjectives.
Statement is,
okay, Sean, let me hear what you say.
Whenever you go to any hospital or clinic or doctor, the doctor in medical science must make a complete case study, must get a case history. And from that case history, he will ask the patient, or she will ask the patient, certain questions to determine in the case history what have been the actual symptoms. Once you have the case history, then you can properly diagnose the cure. In order for there to be any harmony, if it is at all God's will, between the races, young lady, if there's to be any harmony, it must be based on justice, and it must be based on truth. So we must first of all find out what the case history is. find out in our diagnosis how things got this way, and then go to the root of it and try to cure it from the root. Otherwise, we will have recurring effects.
Total peace. It says that in the Bible. It's going to get worse and worse.
I respect that. I respect it.
But I know
You got done telling me before, after I repudiated him, that I had my Klan hat in the closet.